LPJ Design presents.
Hey everybody, it is Lewis Porter Jr. It is Sunday the 15th. Yeah, I just left one of my favorite places to go on a Sunday, Mojo Donuts here in South Florida. If you're ever in Fort Lauderdale and you're over, it's Pembroke. It's Hollywood. Yeah, I think it's still Hollywood. No, it's Pembroke Pines. If you're ever in Pembroke Pines in Florida, it's a little suburb of Fort Lauderdale. There's a donut shop called Mojo Mojo's Donuts. It's amazing. You should go there. They do a lot of handcrafted, very unique donuts. I come here on a regular basis. It's kind of ridiculous. Um, it's kind of like my breakfast on Sunday. I love it. It's nice to relax, sit back. It's very, very hipster, but I don't care about that. I just think they make great donuts. So that's all I care about is donuts. I'm not coming to be a hipster. I'm coming to get food. Thank you. So if you're in, check it out. So on the boards as usual, looking at stuff, and I saw a lot of people have been looking at this business model, the Patreon business model on the Patreon website. It's gotten a lot more press, which I agree is a great idea. And even myself, I was looking at ways that I thought that you could find ways to make it work and develop and that kind of thing. Oh, not here, the other one. Sorry, I'm driving. So I'm just a little bit lost, but not that majorly lost. So a lot of people have been looking at this business model and how can they get in. Excuse me. Ooh, gassy. Can get into it and what they can do, and even myself, as I kept thinking, like, okay, I get the idea of it. I understand what it is, but to me, it's always been the issue of how do you get people to give you the money and get something what they feel is very special. Because let's just suppose you make the product, you put it out, you have the fans of the feature, and they give you money for it, they get it first. Ta-da! They get it, they're happy. The thing is you kind of when I'd expect, being that kind of person, I'd expect that it would be, the unique piece. It'd be something interesting. Oh, I gotta go to the other one, don't I? Damn it. Another issue. I'd want something very, very unique for what I was getting. I mean, that's what I think. That's what I feel would be appropriate. I don't think that's unrealistic. I don't think that no, yeah. I don't think that's unrealistic at all. I think it's a smart thing to do, but it's okay. It comes down to this. When you're being a patron, I believe you should get something that no one else is getting being a patron. A lot of people seem like they're being patrons. They're getting the they're getting the product, which is yeah, of course, but there's no extra other piece. Did I just realize the book's on it? Yeah. There's no extra. Hey, being a patron, not only did you get this lovely book that I made that's fantastic, you also got bang, and I think the bang part is the part that's missing. It's very much the hey, you got something nice that's really cool, oh friendly there, and that's kind of it. Do I have to get out my car to do this? Damn it, I do. Is the door open? Okay, what am I trying to do right now that you're all wondering, like, what is he doing? I'm trying to actually return library books. The simplest, most easiest thing in the world to do, while at the same time driving and looking for a good spot to park, because apparently there's no drive-up window, which I'd expect. Most of the libraries I go to, there's a drive-up window. This library has to be very next to, next to Mojo Donuts. It belongs to Broward College, and I was hoping to just go in, drop these books off that Lucas and I got to read, and some book stuff for myself, of course, and just check, jet and go do some other stuff. But apparently, my master plan of going and jetting has been destroyed because apparently the library's not open, and there's no drop-off box, which is really the more surprising thing. But anyway, all right, patron model. So a lot of people have been jumping on this, and like Ian World, I know they have one patron model. There's basically said, $250 for an article, $500 I think it's an advertisement. And I just thought, okay, the typical article they're charging is $250. You can do the cost analysis on that. You can break down the numbers of whatever you want to do. Is the person getting a fair amount? That's whatever. You can do that on your own. But there you go. So just think of it that way. For $250, you can get an article by them. Oh, there is a book slot. Thank you. I knew there was going to be a book slot somewhere. So that being said, I'm thinking, what other business model would have worked really good on Patreon? And one of the ones that I thought would work excellent, and I still believe, and I'm surprised no one's talked about this one yet. So you're going to have to do a little flashback. Back in the old days, Da-da-da. There's a little website called Dungeon Today. So, I was thinking, wow, I have to. All right, the deposit slip for the book thing's a little high, and I use the word "little" high as I'm in a car, relatively speaking. So now I'm gonna have to get out of the car, do a lot of trick photography. How about stopping the car before you get out of it? That'd be helpful. All right. And just so you're wondering, these are the books I've got. I've got Muddy Buddy Mud, so that's going in. And Axel, that's going in. Berenstain Bears, which I can't stand at all. Digger the Dinosaur. Charlie the Rescue Dog. And Best Friends. But these are my books, of course. Wow. I like Good Brian Takes Action. Blackest Night, of course, which I love reading, I enjoy it. I like the art and the story. And this Relic thing, which is kind of a mess. This, Lights Out was really kind of a mess. But, yeah. All right. Now that all that's done, and it's taken up nearly freaking 7 minutes of time, we can go back to what I was talking about, because all I want to do is talk about the books. So, Dungeon Today. Dungeon Today was a website built by Monty Cook that basically had a very simple premise, which I thought was very kind of cool. Like, every day they'd release a section of a dungeon. And there'd be a monster in there, and there'd be write-up and stats. It's just, a day-by-day release. Now, first and foremost, I thought it was an awesome idea. I still think it's an awesome idea. Adventure Weekly kind of does this in a different way, which I think also should be doing a patron model, but that's another story. I like that idea. I really like the sense of every day you get something new, and it's a kind of cool thing, and da-da-da-da. I think it's a cool idea. The flip side to all this would be a patron model that you'd kind of do something maybe similar. Maybe it's not every day, or maybe it's like, well, maybe it's like every week you get charged X amount of dollars to do this thing. Because I think every day would kind of break somebody. If you're doing Dungeon a day and it was saying $1 a day, 30 days, $30. That might be like, hey, wait a minute. But if it was like, every week you'd have to put $1. You guys would release a big collected one. That'd be for the whole week. So like this dungeon, so today's dungeon is, let's say Monday through Friday. When I use every day, I'm going to use Monday through Friday for, whatever is a month. That's like 4.3 weeks is a month, but whatever. See, I'm getting all this crazy math. But 5 releases a week. And on Friday, or even better, on Monday, maybe all the people who are patrons of it, they get the whole 5 weeks early. The rest of people get it doled out one day. Bam, bam, bam. And that's how you do it. Because I always thought that doing a subscription on that was a good idea. It made sense, but it still was difficult because some people would forget. So Dungeon a Day had some issues, but I think the patron model might be exactly what Dungeon a Day would be looking for. It's kind of the same thing as subscription, but I think a little bit of a better choice, because I think when it comes to subscriptions, you tend to want to have something come into I'd say on a regular basis. I subscribe to magazines because it comes on a regular basis. I don't think about it. It's going to come to me. I can read it in my leisure. I think that's important. I think Dungeon a Day could have done the exact same thing using a patron model like this, like this, instead of going subscription. I think making people patron, they get something else special. So maybe, here's a crazy idea. You've got this dungeon you're building, and so what? Let's say every day you promise people one section of the dungeon. So one section of the dungeon is maybe like 300 words, which isn't unrealistic. 300 words for a room is pretty detailed. So you do that, and then like maybe if you're a patron, you get 6 items in a week instead of 5. The regular people only get 5. If you're not a patron, you're not a patron. You get these 5. They come out. And people come to it. I think that's the cool thing. And then like or maybe give it away for free. See how crazy this gets? See, this is the real business aspect. This is when you're talking. Oh, it's a big old light behind you. I guess you guys are gonna get screwed. Oh, there you go. It's a little better. Um, right now, the idea of it is very, very cool. I like that you can find a way to get people to pay you for it, but at the same time, you maybe you put it out for free. Maybe the weekly stuff you put out for free, but the number 6 one, you hold that back. That's the hold back, and maybe that's another part of the dungeon you didn't know about, or maybe it's another layer to it that you didn't know about, something else cool that you can add to what you're doing. I think that's very feasible. Building the picture model on that, every week you're gonna get X amount of written stuff, and out of this written stuff, you're gonna get boom, this extra one on top of that. And then maybe you give the adventure or the dungeon piece away. Because to me it looks like when you give it away like that, you're really looking just to build interest in what you're doing. I got an adventure, here's the adventure, it's online, it's free, you want to play it, here's the map, and we're going to release pieces of this every week, and every day, and every day you come, we're going to give you one more room, and da-da-da-da, and there you go. And that's basically it. So it's 300 words per section times 5 is 1,500 words a day. You do that for, let's say 4 weeks, just for the quick math. 4 weeks, that's 6,000 words. Okay, 6,000 words, say it's 4 weeks, so that's 20 sections on a map, which could be a decent map. 6,000 words, that breaks down to about 9 pages, well, no, about 9, maybe 10 pages of writing and layout. So there you go. You've got yourself 10 good, solid adventure pages. Now, on top of that, you've also got the other 1,200 One Business Specialty members. All the guys who did the Patreon, they get this other extra one-day one. So that's another 1,200 words on top of that. So that's, maybe it's like 2 pages. Let's just say, it's 2 pages. So you get 12 pages worth of content in that month. Now, if you're going to give away the first part of it, the 20 part of it, that I think will draw interest. That will make things interesting. Or maybe you put it for a limited time. This adventure will only be available in this format for X amount of length. So, suppose this adventure starts on January, let's say January. And you say, well, this adventure will be live and usable only until April 31st. So that gives you 4 good months. Or March. We'll make it March. We'll get March. March. Yes, March has 31 days. So, March 31st, that gives you 3 good months to play it. And then after 3 months, you take it down. Now, the cool part is, when you take it down, you maybe collect it in April as its own little adventure that people can play, and there it is. And people play tested it, and they've added stuff to it, and they like it, that thing. And then you just keep doing it. Maybe just levels. Maybe make it levels, like what Monty Cook did. This is a first level adventure on this 1, 2 months. Such and such is the first level, boom. After 3 months, it goes for sale, and you've got to purchase it. You got 3 months to play, enjoy for free, but if you want to keep it for the future, you want to make it look nicer, we're doing, a PDF it. And at the end of maybe the entire year, you do it. You do 20, so let's see, 20 times 12. Everyone do the math real quick. 2,400. Well, that's 2,400. 240. 240-page book after a year. Has your big old super giant dungeon, whatever, adventure, whatever situation that you get to use, which is pretty awesome when you think about it. I mean, dude, that's a great deal. And maybe the Patreon model is so simple. You release every week. What, maybe $5? $5? You think reasonable? $5 a week? Yeah, five. Think about it. At $5 a week, you get 20 things. You get all right. $5 a week, or $5 a release using the Patreon model. So it's $5. So every week when you get 1,500 words, 1,500 words? Yeah, 1,500 words. Well, another 300. 1,500 words. No, it'll be 1,800. Forget that. 1,800 words you pick $5 for. Motorcycle needs some work. At the end of the time, maybe you get a massive discount on, since you're a patron already, you've already paid for that. Maybe you get a cool discount on the actual bigger version that we do. That's a thought. See, right here, I'm just a lot of freeform thoughts, trying to do math and drive at the same time and pay attention. There's just a lot of things you got to think about, with business. So I think the Patreon model is very feasible because you figure out, okay, let's suppose we get somebody there. We're paying, what do you want to do? Well, let's do the math. Okay. If you do 300 words and you pay them 2 cents a word, let's just do the 1,500 times 2, so that's like $30 plus editing will be equal. That's another $60. Boom. I'm gonna be really cheap. I'm gonna use stock art if we can. So I'll use my own. Well, you know what? Well, yeah, I'll use my own. I can use my own. See, I'm trying to make this fair for everybody who's doing it and thinking about maybe doing it. I'm gonna use some advantages I have. Okay. So $60 to write it. Write it and edit it. You put another. You put another $10 for the stock art. That's $70 right there. You gotta pay somebody to lay out. I don't have to, so I'm not gonna worry about that. But I don't even know. So it's what? So 10 pages. It's $1 a page still for layout. I think that's what the thing is now. $1 a page. It's another $10. So that brings it to $80. Boom. That's $80 a week to do this. So at $80, let's figure out. $5 is what you want to be to make people interested. Or maybe it's $3. At $5, get $80. You need to make 16 people have to do. Everybody got to pay the percentage. So let's figure 16 people. That's what the pure math is. 16 people would need to subscribe to you at $5 a pop a week to get you to do that. Now that might be high for some people. But that comes up to be $20 a month. That's comic book money. That's a movie money. That's whatever. All right. Suppose you say, okay, let's make it a little more realistic. Let's make it $3. $3 is cheap. That's $12 a month to get like one level. $12. I don't think people would get upset with that. No, that's very reasonable price. So it's $3 per person divided by the 80 is 2. Carry 6, carry 2. Damn, stupid bump. So 22. Let's say 20. Well, 22. Let's say 23 people. 23 people a month have to give you $3 a pop. Now, is that, or not even a month, sorry. 23 people have to give you $3 every time you release something. That's every week. Now, is that unrealistic? No, that's actually very, very realistic. It's also very, very, inexpensive. Now, the best part about this is you put the, do this. As you're getting all this cool information, but this is kind of cool. The money's coming in, you're making the $80. Hey, that's great. You're giving away the product for free. Hey, that's cool. It's kind of paying for itself. It's consistently going. You're getting a fan base. You got the part. That's kind of what you want. Here's a cool thing that you didn't think about. All those people are gonna start coming to your website to see the free adventure that you're releasing. They're gonna be interested, and with that interest, they're gonna draw traffic. I mean web traffic. I don't know what your numbers will be, but they're going to be something. But people are going to check out free stuff. And if it's good quality free stuff, they're definitely going to check it out. They're going to be like, oh, this is really cool. I really like this. I wish you'd do more of this. Like, oh, we're thinking about it, and then you put on there, think about supporting our patron. Even if you give us $1, that's still support. We'll take it. And you just draw more people into it. And I think that's where it becomes the big thing. Now, that said, let's take a big name person. Let's go. Let's go Wolfgang, since I know Wolfgang. I'll say, let's go Wolfgang. Let's suppose Wolfgang did this. Wolfgang said, hey, I'm going to start doing this thing, very much like Money did. It's going to be, adventure a day. Still think it's a great name. And I might be stealing it if the .com is available. So you people are now, rushing now to check, GoDaddy to see if the .com board's available. He could realistically build a ton of fans just coming and just wanting to see his work. And for him also, he could design certain sections of the dungeon or adventure path or whatever. I'm just saying. I wouldn't say dungeon right now. I think that financially it's a great win-win for him. He can design per room if he wanted it, or per section, or whatever, and then maybe farm out the rest to somebody else who might need a gig or might need something cool. And you get, I forgot with the money. You need a cartographer. You can hand draw out your map, and you draw out your map of where you want the rooms to be and everything, and you do that. and you hand it off to the cartographer, and the cartographer does it. That's maybe a couple hundred, a couple. Let's say it's an extra, it's a large map. Let's say an extra $200 on top of all this stuff. You could build enough interest with people coming, supporting the Patreon, and for online advertising. You put some advertising banners up there from RPG Now or DriveThruRPG or anybody who's willing to give you an affiliate. You'll generate extra money, and that could be the money to pay for the map. So maybe you don't go out of pocket for that, and maybe just the traffic alone builds enough money that you don't have to actually spend a lot of money, and it becomes very, very profitable very, very quickly. And I think a lot of people don't get a chance to think about that kind of stuff. It really is about the level of quality. Adventures a Week is a prime example. Those guys do that level of quality every week. I can only imagine how fast they must be doing stuff. And I've always kind of thought this as a bad side to them. It's like, God, man, they work so hard on this stuff. They're putting out so much stuff. They got to suffer from burnout, or the writers are just really, really fast. They plan it well in advance. I think if they went to this kind of model, Adventures a Week. Yeah, Adventures a Week. You can still call it that. Yeah, Adventure a Day, Adventure a Week. People would still be interested. They would not. I don't think they'd see. I think they might see an influx even more. But it kind of gives them ability to kind of catch up. Because God, man, I gotta wonder. They are burning through stuff quickly, and it's you gotta plan in advance. And I'm sure they're doing well enough that they're making good money. But it's still just like, holy cow, man. There's so much stuff going on. For all you people who don't understand and don't know, I live in South Florida. So today's kind of warm. It's like in the 80s, while some of you in the 30s, like Indianapolis, I was in 30-something. That's why I live in Florida, because it's sunny, like almost all the time. So that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that you can do some really cool stuff with Patreon. It's got a cool business model. I'm sorry, I didn't even notice that. Yeah, a cool business model. I think it's possible. I'm going to start thinking more about it and figuring out ways to really help. Is that wet? No, just cold. Sure. I don't think it's wet. A little wet and cold. Combination. Oh. I just think, sorry about the sun in my head. I didn't know it was right there. I think people could find ways to do some really cool products, maybe using that model. And I think, trying to do kind of just different things. I mean, some people have tried, I guess it's doing the Patreon right now, but I think you got to build a fan base and give people a reason to want you to do it. I mentioned to Storm Cook, I thought that's something you should look into doing Patreon. I think if you're an artist, you're not doing Patreon, you're crazy. If you're a webcomic guy and you're not doing Patreon, you're crazy. I would be all over that like a cheap suit. I mean, I think you build your fan base from there and just go to it. Just get those guys out there seeing your stuff, and and stock art, please. Stock art, you should have been doing that, 10 years ago like this. It's just smart business. It's just the way I feel about that. So I'm gonna go inside, check out some books, and then go ready to pick up Lucas, because I think we're going to IKEA to look at some stuff as usual. And that's what we do on Sunday. That's how we roll. All right. Talk to you all later.